Come on and tell your story. Come on and tell your story. Come on and tell your story. Motivated every day. Living in victory every day. Living in victory every day. No matter what they say. No matter what they say. Living in victory every day. Living in victory every day. No matter what they say. Living in victory every day.
Nicole Larsen Live, living in victory every day.
Welcome, this is Nicole Larsen Live. We're living in victory every day, and of course it's a program that's to inspire, encourage, to motivate you. We speak openly, and our guests are very transparent about their journeys throughout their lives and where they are today. And today, literally today is no exception. We have a very special guest. She has been through some types of abuse in her life, which led to a skin condition.
My youngest daughter had an incident, not really an incident, but a concern at school one time where she said, "Mommy, I don't want you to pick me up anymore." And I said, "Why?" She's like, "Because the kids keep asking me, what happened to your mommy's skin? And every day I go to school, they're like, what happened to your mommy's skin?" And I went to the car and I cried.
But she is now here to tell her story. She is loving herself still, despite. I'm looking forward to speaking with her. Of course, we have our professionals who are going to be giving us their take on what's transpiring on each program here on Nicole Larsen Live, living in victory every day.
Maybe he landed here totally by coincidence. But if by chance he's admiring your fresh coat of Benjamin Moore soft sky blue, well, that's a pretty high compliment. Coming from an expert.
Make a lasting impression and dress for success with professional clothes, shoes, and handbags available at the office. Work in style. Pennywise Plaza Showwarners. Check our Facebook page for what's in store.
Live a life of victory and find peace and hope in today's troubled world. Visit us at Holiness Revival Ministries. Call 628-7407 or 622-5826.
Best Enterprises Limited for all your furniture needs. New, used, or scratch and dent. Call us today at 315-2471 Takarikwa.
15 is a bargain at KWS Supermarket. Yes, get our $15 specials or get 15% off many items in store. KWS Supermarket, Ragu Road, Davadi.
Chez Jean Designs in San Fernando provides customized clothing from sassy to corporate, conservative to casual. Email janiskazo@gmail.com or call 793-1668 for consultations.
AM Prime on WESN, the only place from 6 to 7:30 a.m. where you can get the most analytical and thorough interviews and regional reports.
The Barbados Labour Party, led by the Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley, once again able to achieve a clean sweep in yesterday's general election.
I think a lot of people have underestimated the power of Tobago nationalism.
If the government is afraid to say it, Martin George, I am saying it this morning on your show, Andy, there will be no carnival before Ash Wednesday.
Grab a cup of coffee and start your day right watching AM Prime with Andy Johnson weekdays from 6 a.m. only on your content capital, WESN. With society plagued by a host of issues, with debates surrounding our urgent concerns falling short, with questions of our future not always being answered.
The conversation continues. Join me, Kemuel Pascal, as the voice of the youth comes to life. We will confront the controversial topics of today's world to gain answers that are key for a better tomorrow. One and One with me, Kemuel Pascal. Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Only on WESN Content Capital.
What's your choice? Choice
Gen Style customizes cards, limitless in expressions. For special occasions, call 1-868-7N-STYLE. Instagram Gen Style Cards TT, Facebook at Gen Style.
Scrub City, your #1 choice for medical uniforms, medical accessories, and footwear. Scrub City, 2 locations, San Fernando and Chaguanas, or check our Facebook page.
This is Nicole Larsen live, living in victory every day, and I am delighted to be with you here once again on the program. We have a very special guest. All our guests are special, and you will see and you will understand what I'm saying, because they will be speaking from their heart, their journey, their challenges. And my guest, Akina Kublal, is going to be talking about her wrestling with a disease, an autoimmune disease, and how it changed her life for the better. So we're looking forward to this conversation. The name of the book is A Labor of Love. Welcome, Akina. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's good to have you. You know, we've been speaking on the phone for quite some time, and I think I would have done an interview with you a couple months ago, but who would think that I would see you on a one-on-one?
I know.
Yeah.
God is so good.
It's indeed. He is good. So let's talk about you as an author, Akina. A fabulous book. It is available on Amazon. Just letting you know, it is available on Amazon. Put that plug in first of all. But let's tell us, where did that book come from? How come, you said to yourself, you know what, I'm going to put pen to paper? Did you ever think that you were an author?
I absolutely didn't, because I think anytime we set out to do something, especially something that is foreign to you, it's daunting, but I really wanted to write the book because I felt as though I wanted to be able to leave a tangible legacy from my story for women to not just learn from, but to also kind of just show myself that, all right, it wasn't in vain, So I really wrote the book for myself first, to be honest with you. The book is set out in 9 chapters, and it's tied into 9 months of what it means for a woman to give birth. So each chapter is titled, for example, the first chapter is titled Conception, then we go into the first trimester, second trimester, and things like that. And each chapter I talk about things that I would have gone through in my life and how it ties into giving birth to a physical baby, but also that of any other type of baby, whether it be a purpose, career, something spiritual, things like that.
So we're going to talk about how it birthed your purpose. Yeah. And I want you first to give us a little bit of an idea, you growing up. Yeah. And we spoke off air about some of you said the mistakes or the errors that you would have made, and now coming to terms with it. But God has a way of turning around everything and working it out for our good. Yeah. So let's start from the beginning.
Well, from the beginning, growing up, I was a very shy child, very, very shy. Still kind of am shy, but back then it was worse. Like I wouldn't speak at all. People would often say that when they asked me my name, they wouldn't hear what I say. I would whisper it very, very softly. I was always the type of child to be inside and that kind of thing. And as I grew older, I felt like I just didn't really know who I was. I grew up in a home where I grew up with my mom and my stepdad. My biological dad was in the picture, but we weren't living in the same home. So, I had that whole kind of identity crisis, as you would say, that I think a lot of young people who grew up in those kind of blended families sometimes go through. You belong here, yes, you're loved, it's a good home and a good family, but then you have your other parent on the other side with a different family, and somehow you can't find that in between as to where you fit, So I struggled with that for a long while, and then eventually, I became a teenager, and as you become a teenager, the world kind of tells you who you are.
Yes, absolutely.
So, started high school and that kind of thing, and I entered a very tumultuous relationship from the age of 19, where I got pregnant and that kind of thing, teenage pregnancy, and, went through that stage, which was something else as well. So I would say that from a very young age, I dealt with a lot of traumas that I didn't really even know at the time was trauma, because, in our culture and society too, sometimes you go through stuff and it's just, it's just life, and you push through.
So did you have anybody you can talk to say, this is how I'm feeling? Or were you all by your lonesome?
I did. I always mentioned this particular woman that I didn't grow up in a Christian home. My family, they were going to church, but there was this one particular neighbor. She was a pastor and she would always take me to church with her. She didn't have any children, but she would always take me with her. And it's amazing how sometimes, the Bible talks about when, your mother and father forsakes you. Even though my parents didn't forsake me, but I believe that God knew where he wanted me to go. So he set someone in that place to kind of help me, push me in the direction that he needed me to be in. So she was the first person who really introduced me to faith on a deeper level. And at the very early age of 15, I got baptized. So I knew about faith and stuff from an early age. And she would be my person that really guided me, kind of like a spiritual mother, I would say, guided me to that place.
And give you that support, that listening ear. Yeah. Because you spoke earlier about, well, I defined it as a little bit of low self-esteem.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
And so she was able to let you know who you are.
Yes.
And well, it brings us to this condition that you would have, vertigo. And this was actually brought on because of certain stresses of the autoimmune system.
Yes.
Now, there you are, growing up, and you said you had a little bit of low self-esteem, still navigating life. And then now you are faced with a skin disease. Share with me.
Well, I really thought that was the worst thing that can happen to me, because you said it, I already didn't know, still trying to figure out who I was, that kind of thing. And on top of that, from my early 20s, I was in a job that's very big image. So I always wanted to travel and become a flight attendant, and I was able to achieve that. So, that in itself is all about glitz and glam and image, and you want to pull the suitcase in the airport and you want to tell everybody this is what I do and this and that, because it gives you a sense of, here, look, I am, right?
It's funny you should say that, because when I think of flight attendants, I see them, with the suitcase, and they're just with this issue of, I know who I am, dragging it. It's all about that. So you were into that, you thought, I've reached kind of, the pinnacle.
And when I got vitiligo, I was like, okay, so what next, because it's, when you hear vitiligo, the first thing you think of is Michael Jackson. So you feel like automatically I'm going to go from this to that in no time. And particularly because my spread was very rapid. I've only had vitiligo for about 5 years. And when people see me, they're like, oh, wow, only 5 years? But some people are born with it. Some people get it from childhood. And, there's no telling really how fast or slow it progresses. For me, it progressed pretty quickly. And then sometimes I will get back pigment in different areas, and then it will come back again.
Akina, I want you to take me through the first moment when you realized you saw the discoloration on your skin.
Yeah. The very first day I remember it very vividly. It was very, very tiny, almost like a small dot, and I thought that maybe, oil burnt me or something, so I ignored it. Then some weeks passed, and I saw tiny dots appearing in different places. I said, okay, let me go to the dermatologist. When I went to her, she, they ran all the tests and whatever. They even test you for thyroid and other types of autoimmune conditions, because most times people who have vitiligo, they have other autoimmune issues. So when they did confirm that it was vitiligo, I was like, okay, what do we do now? And she was like, well, we could prescribe some creams and stuff, and we'll see what happens. I had a positive outlook, because I'm like, oh, this will probably go away, Obviously, you'd run to the first thing that you do, which is Google, to Google to see what is going to happen. And the creams just didn't work for me,
So you had to come to terms with the fact that this is something that's going to start progressing.
Yeah, and I had to come to terms with it quickly, and also realize that this would be who I am now. Very early on, I would not really want to go out much. I would wear long sleeves, and if I go out, I would hide my arms. So if I'm sitting somewhere, I might sit like this. Or I even became very self-aware and realized that I would fold my arms a lot if I went out, you know. Not because I was ashamed so much of how I looked, but the questions. I couldn't deal with the questions and the stares and the comments, you know. Yeah. That was the most hard part, having to deal with the comments.
Do you think that we need, I don't know, to be a little bit more sensitive?
Absolutely.
As a people?
Yeah.
You know, even people with disabilities, I find we speak to them as if they are, for instance, they're not there and they're right standing next to you.
Yeah.
So you found that you got those insensitive comments as well. When we come back, let's share. Talk to me about those comments that we would have made without thinking. We'll be right back. It's Nicole Larsen Live, living in victory every day.
It's an aha moment.
Don't make yourself small for anyone. The struggle you are in today is developing the strength you will need for tomorrow. The hardest times often lead to the greatest moments of your life.
It's an aha moment.
Make a lasting impression and dress for success with professional clothes, shoes and handbags available at the office. Work in style. Pennywise Plaza Shogwanas. Check our Facebook page for what's in store.
Gen Style customizes cards, limitless in expressions. For special occasions, call 1-868-7N-STYLE. Instagram Gen Style Cards TT, Facebook at Gen Style.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
If these walls could talk, they'd cry uncle. They didn't plan to become offices or yoga studios, but they've stood by us, even when we got a little stir-crazy. For that, they deserve some thanks. They deserve Benjamin Moore.
What's the best way to grab the attention of viewers?
Please exercise more patience. You have to be kidding me.
Doing what we do best. I'll say at the very least it's a conspiracy of laziness against the people.
Join me, Keaton Shaw.
And me, Sean Michael Small, for Talking Point.
Weekdays from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m.
We go in-depth on the trending issues and engage the most controversial newsmakers
as we get them to account to the people for their actions.
You can't go to the government with nothing. You can't go to cabinet with an empty hand, with a wish.
I'm glad that we're having this a sober, mature discussion.
In the present situation, I expect a continuation of the chaos.
Join us for the discussion, Mondays to Fridays,
only on WESN,
the content capital.
People really want to know, what about me? Where do I fit? Yes. What is in the ride for me in terms of a better Trinidad and Tobago? And I'm pleased to shed some light on that.
The purpose of bail is to ensure your attendance at court. That's it. It is not punitive, it is not rehabilitative.
We, the police officers, we are professional, and we are here for whenever the survivor is ready to come forward.
We have the right to private and family life, the right to religious freedoms and beliefs and thoughts and expression. But these rights are not absolute. Certain rights can be limited.
The law is to govern the whole, it's for all of us in public.
Best Enterprises Limited for all your furniture needs. New, used or scratch and dent. Call us today at 315-2471 Takarikwa. Chez Jean Designs in San Fernando provides customized clothing from sassy to corporate, conservative to casual. Email janiskazo@gmail.com or call 793-1668 for consultations.
Live a life of victory and find peace and hope in today's troubled world. Visit us at Holiness Revival Ministries. Call 628-7407 or 622-5826.
15 is a bargain at KWS Supermarket. Yes, get our $15 specials or get 15% off many items in store. KWS Supermarket, Raguro Dabadi. Scrub City, your #1 choice for medical uniforms, medical accessories, and footwear. Scrub City, 2 locations, San Fernando and Chaguanas, or check our Facebook page.
We're back with you on Nicole Larsen Live, living in victory every day. And our guest, Akina Kublal, is still here with us. As a matter of fact, she's going to be going into some details as to the insensitivity that we as a people can have when we see someone looking a little bit different.
Generally, as a society in Trinidad, I think we say a lot of things and we probably, we joke a lot. We have a lot of lack of empathy here. So, for example, you might have some auntie. We all know if you go to a family function and you gain a little weight, oh gosh, girl, watch how fat you get, or something like that. But sometimes a person might be dealing with a health challenge or things like that. So we can be a bit insensitive as a people.
And you know what we call that? We call that peacock.
Yes.
Yeah, and if you get a little upset, they say, oh, you have thin skin, why is your story just a joke?
Yeah.
Because everything is a joke for us. We don't realize that those jokes can hurt.
Absolutely, yeah. Because it's for me, I was already dealing with trying to navigate this thing, and then because with vitiligo there carries a sense of uncertainty as to when will I fully depigment. It's like every day, sometimes you look in the mirror and you see a new you. So I might get accustomed to putting on my makeup one way, and then in 2-3 days, the shape of my pigment changes. I have to figure it out again. So I had just stopped wearing makeup completely for a while. So when I go out, people would ask, what happened to your skin? Especially for somebody I have not seen in a long while. Let's say, for example, someone from school. Then there are the people who just wouldn't address it. They would...
Which is worse. Because they have this burning desire to ask the question and they're just not asking it.
Or they would say, I don't see anything. All I see is you. Which could be true, but I often say, and I tell my friends and family this all the time, that people who know me, they see me. So if you know Akina, you see Akina. But if you don't know me and it's a stranger, the first thing you see is vitiligo. And I've seen it a lot with kids, especially innocently. My youngest daughter had not really an incident, but a concern at school one time where she said, Mommy, I don't want you to pick me up anymore. And I said, why? She's like, because the kids keep asking me, what happened to your mommy's skin? And every day I go to school, they're like, what happened to your mommy's skin? And I went to the car and I cried. Now, she wasn't being mean, but just knowing that I was putting my child in a position to have to feel accountable for what I was going through really was tough for me, But it also gave me a deeper sense of empathy for people dealing with other stuff, like people disabled or other autoimmune conditions or things like that. It opened my mind and my heart to really have a greater sense of empathy for people dealing with stuff like that.
And there's a quote in the Bible that says that God works everything out for our good. And I am hearing your story from a child growing up, and that low self-esteem and not liking yourself perhaps, and whatever else happened. And then this disease, and then you become an advocate, because guess what? Out of this, your purpose was birthed.
It was. I could have never imagined that I would be invited to speak at the World Vitiligo Conference this year, to speak to women. And it's amazing how God uses everything. And I talk about that in my book too, but this year I saw it happen in a tangible way. It was not a Christian event. It was not something that was meant to be like that. It was really just to talk about my skin and things like that. But after I spoke, there were women in tears, people crying, people that wanted prayer and things like that. And it was not a regional or a local thing, it was in the US. And there were people from all around the world, Bangladesh, from Africa, Australia, that came to meet in this place, because something amazing happens when you meet in a place with people who understand what you go through.
Yes.
You could tell your story to people and they would have empathy, they would get it, but it's different when you tell it to someone who's been there.
Yeah.
And just being in that space with all these people that had gone through so many things, even children. There were children there at the conference who get bullied at school and things like that. It really, really showed me that maybe God allowed this to happen to me so that I could become an advocate, one, but two, so that I could see more of how we need to have empathy in this world. You know, we could be really, really unkind.
Yes.
You know,
insensitive. And it starts from the children. I think we need to speak to our children and expose them to other people with disabilities, different, and let them know that they are still beautifully and wonderfully made by God. You know, as you talk about being an advocate, what is your heart's desire? Because I am listening to you and I'm thinking that you would want someone to see you as beautiful, not necessarily from the outside in, because here's my point. We know of so many actors and actresses who are absolutely drop-dead gorgeous as far as we are concerned. And you hear them talk about themselves saying, you know, I don't think I'm pretty. You know, this needs to be fixed, that needs to be fixed. And we're saying to ourselves, what is their story? So that tells me that beauty is not on the outside. It has to come from within. So I think you as an advocate, maybe you want to teach that. Yes, I have this skin disease, but guess what? I'm still beautiful, but if I didn't have it, I would still need that beauty to come in from the inside out.
Yeah, you're so right, because I remember having a conversation with my children one time about if I could get rid of vitiligo, would I want it to? And you know, something I've thought about for a long while. Would I want it to go away? But I can't say that I would, you know, because it's made me...
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You're being honest?
I'm being honest.
Not because
now,
we're on TV?
No. Now, if it does go away, I wouldn't be upset. But if I had to choose, I won't, because it's made me such a better person. And I also think too, I have a responsibility to teach my girls and younger women that, as you said, beauty is much more than just my skin. I am so blessed that God said, okay, we'll allow this to happen. There are so many people who have other autoimmune conditions, lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, different diseases that are triggered by stress and things like that, you know, that could end up fatal. So I see it as a gift, in a sense, that God gave me, because, like I said in the very, very beginning, I used to be so shy, and I would hide. I would run to the back of the room, and now I cannot hide. I can't hide because
yes, whether you want to hide or not, you can't.
So I've had to train myself to become comfortable being seen, because if I go in a room of 20 people, you will identify this about me. It makes me set apart. It makes me different. So it has trained me with how to become more comfortable in who I am.
Have you found with this skin disease or skin condition that people come up to you and you are giving advice, but not necessarily only about that? They're coming to talk about their own problems and so.
Yeah, I was traveling recently and I had a whole conversation with a lady in the line at immigration about, she started telling me her whole story about her marriage and her children and stuff, and my daughter looks at me like, Mommy, why is this lady telling you all her business? But it just happened, you know, so it's like I said, it's a blessing because it's a point that people, if they want to talk about something, they will use that as a starting point, and then that would lead into something else, and it would lead into something else. And I think life should be more about that. You know, how could we use our story to help somebody else? How could we use the tough things that we go through that we might think, okay, people don't want to hear about this, you know, woe is me kind of thing, to really to empower somebody else, because you never know what somebody else might be going through. You never really know.
Yeah. What would the new Akina tell the younger Akina in those days when self-esteem was virtually not there?
Say, girl, you are enough.
Oh, I love it.
You are enough. You are
Yeah.
enough, you know.
Yeah.
You are enough. You are enough. Because we hear that a lot and we don't believe it, but you are enough. So even the young girls, lately I have been inclined, somehow I got thrust into the field of just doing stuff with young women. So I do etiquette training and stuff with young women and things like that. And self-confidence training, but it's a bit different than the regular self-confidence that focuses on image. So I talk to them about things on the inside, you know, building that self-esteem from the inside. And, you know, just sometimes when I hear from them, they feel so unworthy, you know, they're beautiful girls sometimes, and I see the old Akina in them. So for me, I'm like, if you could just wait, if you could just hold on and see what the end would look like, you know, if we could just hold on and see what the end would look like.
Beyond where they are now. And I think this is one of my passions about this program. I want people to understand that yes, you may go through trials and challenges and so, but you can come out on the other side a better person.
It won't always be easy.
It's not going to be easy, obviously, because I'm sure there are times where you cried, you wept. You know, there's the cry, Akina, there's the cry, and then there's the ugly cry, where you just, you know, you're weeping. And I'm sure you've been through that as well. But, you know, you were able now to say, this is who I am, despite, in the midst of. Yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited about that book. Tell us how we can access this book, and is it available for, let's say, the younger child, the younger growing up in school?
I would say not so much. The age group is really around 16 and up.
Excellent.
Yeah. So
great.
age 16
because you know, around 16, that's when you're paying so much attention to how you look. You're combing the hair at least 15, 16 times in the mirror. So you have to let them, getting them right there. This is good. This is great. Have you been thinking about perhaps going to the schools and talking to them?
Well, I have. I started a few months ago. I went with a friend and we did 1 or 2 school tours, but I'm actually planning a book tour for the Christmas season. So for the months of November and December, I'll be at different malls, just promoting the book, doing like a meet and greet and talking to different people and that kind of thing. So I'm excited about that. That's really my passion, you know, to meet people, to talk to them and just kind of have that one-on-one interaction. I don't ever want to be the person that people don't have access to. I don't want to make myself obviously too accessible because then it could be draining, but I remember what it was like when I felt as though I didn't have anybody. And I always want to make myself accessible to young women and women in general who need just a friend, you know?
Yeah, they need a support, they need a listening ear, they need to hear, if I could do it, you can too. Yeah, like a coach. What do you call these, what do you call it? In these sports arenas there, when they have these girls dancing and...
A cheerleader.
Yeah, you want to be their cheerleader. Yeah, we all need a cheerleader in our lives. It really is a pleasure chatting with you. It really has been. I'm looking forward to hearing so much more about what you'll be doing in the future. So please, you know that you cannot be a stranger to us. Yes? Coming up, spoken word artist, Kelleen Theophile.
I have learned that life happens in moments, a short series of events all merging together to form the beautiful story of our lives, moments. Do you remember the moment when you were young and hopeful and free? The world was yours to conquer, for you to be everything you needed to be. Moments. A sea of opportunities waiting for us to dip our innocent toes and dive into the deep. We dreamed as big as the waves of the ocean, our visions swelling in our hearts, picturing all the job opportunities, the finances in that bank account, and of course, the gorgeous partners that we would marry and live a happily lifelong dream. Moments. We dreamed as big as the colors of the rainbow, all these visions flashing before our eyes. The world was ours to conquer. What could stop us and put us aside? these moments. But as quickly as we dreamed big, it was as quickly as the bliss was over. Colors turning to gray. The world came at us stronger than we expected it to be. No one told us that the world could be so hard, that there would be some things that we experience that would leave us scarred. Moments. We keep having these moments, like the moment when my body began betraying me and I see my skin begin to turn. How was I able to navigate this new change that is going on with me? I know how cruel the world could be when they see me. Would I be deemed worthy? Would they allow me into the spaces that I wanted to be? These moments keep coming at me as the stress of life continues to build, as things keep happening. How was I to understand as I see my skin change? How was I to change to go with it? I keep having these moments. Or what about the fact that the world of work is such a cruel and harsh zone? Men fighting over each other, stepping over each other, you having to keep looking over your shoulder, tired, underpaid, overworked, putting over everything that you've worked for, your passion, your goals, and your dreams just to make $1. We keep having these moments. What about the lies we had to tell, the secrets we kept, times where we've sat in the church pew tired and alone, hoping and wishing that somebody, anybody will ask us, how are you today? These moments. We expected more of life, but these keep happening. What are we to do now in these moments? I know these moments keep happening, but let's stop, take a breath, and have this moment. In this moment, are you truly worthless? For in the mirror, you see brokenness, but we see resilience. Let me tell you this, darling. Soldiers always stand the risk of getting scarred, but at the end of it all, know that you stand victorious. You stand healed. In this moment and in this space, know that you are more than enough. The world could decide who they want you to be, but you stand as who you were created to be. Because at the end of it all, know that the core of who you are is beautiful. That God took his time, stooped over you, and formed this creation that is meant to withstand difficulty. You are more than enough, and your time has not passed. It will never pass as long as his hand is over you. So square your shoulder up, my darling. Square your shoulder up, young man. You are capable of conquering this world that you once desired. You see failure, he sees someone who is going to come back and become even greater. So understand this with me as we take this moment to declare who we are. We don't care what the world has robbed us of. We are taking back all that belongs to us, because you are not just victorious. It says we are more than conquerors. So in this moment, would you take it with me and declare as boldly as you can that the core of who I am is beautiful, and it will radiate across the land. And so you are fearfully and wonderfully made, a royal priesthood, a more than a conqueror, all these things coming together to make this beautiful testimony of who we are. Look at yourself in the mirror and understand that you are all that you need to be in this moment. And so would you take this chance with me, go on this journey, and from this day on pledge, no matter what life throws at you, your disposition, your attitude, your posture will be one who understands that my scars don't define me, my skin doesn't tell it all. It's what resides within you that will speak loudly for all to see. And so know that all things are made new, and keep moving forward, keep pushing forward. You are more than enough. And so I have learned that life happens in moments. It comes in waves. It takes all some time that it has to offer. At the end of the day, you are in charge. You get to make the decision of all you need to be. And so life happens in moments. What would you do when yours come?
Now let's hear from today's expert, Dr. Megan Mohammed.
Hello everyone, I am Dr. Megan Mohammed. It is good to be here on Nicole Larsen, Living in Victory every day. So today I've just asked to speak a little bit about vitiligo and the stressors and precipitating factors that can lead to the onset and progress of autoimmune diseases. So vitiligo is an autoimmune condition that basically the body produces antibodies that attack the melanocytes of the skin, which causes the pigment in our skin, right? So now there's lots of studies about the link between stress and autoimmune disorders. And what studies have shown is that in general, stress, and that is metabolic as well as physiological stress on the body, can lead to the onset and worsening of autoimmune disorders. Now, we can't say for sure that, there's a direct cause, but there is a link and association with the way that the body perceives stress and its ability to fight for itself, So basically, when the body is already stressed from whatever it may be, and there are many things that our body perceives stress from, we can basically not have the complete ability to fight everything that we would like to. And unfortunately, when we already have something going for us, like an autoimmune disorder, that there are also hereditary causes for autoimmune disorders. When we have everything going for us, then you can have a flare. Then you can have the onset of an autoimmune disorder. And in general, we want to make sure that our bodies are well equipped to deal with anything that life throws at us. And that could be autoimmune disorder or not. And so dealing with mental stress, mental health issues and the daily emotional things that you go through, physiological stress from whatever you have to endure in life. All of these things can contribute to making something like vitiligo worse, or even bringing it on to begin with. And I hope that this has shed a little bit of light on how vitiligo and stress impact each other.
Scrub City, your #1 choice for medical uniforms, medical accessories, and footwear. Scrub City, 2 locations, San Fernando and Chaguanas, or check our Facebook page.
Gen Style customizes cards, limitless in expressions. For special occasions, call 1-868-7N-STYLE. Instagram Gen Style Cards TT, Facebook @Gen Style.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
Is it politics? What is it? Is it that nobody cares about sports?
The kind of support that sport used to get in the past is no longer here.
The thing is, taking a knee doesn't mean that that's the only thing you're doing on it.
Right.
Taking a knee along with other stuff.
Samantha, what are you looking forward to when you return home to Trinidad and Tobago after winning the title?
Thank you very much for speaking it into existence.
Is it no pressure on Nicholas Ball?
It makes me more motivated to work hard and to go out there and rep the red, white and black.
Why are we sending a team to the Winter Olympics?
There are a number of Trinbagonians who are in the diaspora and have grown up in winter sport. It's an opportunity that the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee will not close the door on.
I also believe in the players that we have. Once you can motivate the players, you can get the best out of them.
Best Enterprises Limited for all your furniture needs. New, used, or scratch and dent. Call us today at 315-2471 Tacarigua. Chez Jean Designs in San Fernando provides customized clothing from sassy to corporate, conservative to casual. Email janiskazo@gmail.com or call 793-1668 for consultations.
15 is a bargain at KWS Supermarket. Yes, get our $15 specials or get 15% off many items in store. KWS Supermarket, Raguro Dabadi.
Live a life of victory and find peace and hope in today's troubled world. Visit us at Holiness Revival Ministries. Call 628-7407 or 622-5826.
What's your choice? Choice Optical. That's my choice.
Make a lasting impression and dress for success with professional clothes, shoes and handbags available at the office. Work in style. Pennywise Plaza Shogwanas. Check our Facebook page for what's in store.
Bill and Ruth fell in love with the Benjamin Moore color Dry Sage, but they tried to match it using another brand's paint.
I mean, it's close enough.
Almost identical, really. Yeah, there it is.
Never trust another paint to be a Benjamin Moore color.
And now some motivation and inspiration from the desk of June Doyle.
Most of us have a secret fantasy that we think about and that we want to happen, especially if it's unlikely to happen. I pray that your spark will return and you will hear the loud applause of all those who are going to be inspired by your story. Be brave when you're scared. Strength comes from overcoming the things you once thought you couldn't do. It's harder when no one is clapping, but clap a little louder for yourself during those times. Anything is possible if you have the mindset and the desire to do it. Go ahead and put in the work while others sleep. This is your life, your story, your book. You will no longer let anyone else write it, nor will you apologize for the edits you make. You've got this, God's got you, and together we will do life. This is June Doyle, author and motivational speaker, signing out. Keep the positivity alive. Let's make the world a better place for you and for me and for everyone.
Nicole Larsen Live, living in victory every day.
It's an aha moment.
As you are shifting, you will begin to realize you are not the same person you used to be. The things you used to tolerate have now become intolerable. Where you once remained quiet, you are now speaking your truth. Where you once battled and argued, you are now choosing to remain silent and pray. You are beginning to understand the value of your voice, and there are some situations that no longer deserve your time, energy, or focus.
It's an aha moment.
Live a life of victory and find peace and hope in today's troubled world. Visit us at Holiness Revival Ministries. Call 628-7407 or 622-5826.
Make a lasting impression and dress for success with professional clothes, shoes and handbags available at the office. Work in style. Pennywise Plaza Shogwanas. Check our Facebook page for what's in store.
Best Enterprises Limited for all your furniture needs. New, used or scratch and dent. Call us today at 315-2471 Takarikwa.
15 is a bargain at KWS Supermarket. Yes, get our $15 specials or get 15% off many items in store. KWS Supermarket, Ragu Road, Dabadee.
Join me, Sule A. Joseph, as I delve into the day-to-day psychological issues plaguing our society. We will discuss behaviors that encompass the biological influences, social pressures, and environmental factors that affect how you think, act, and feel. Psyched. Thursdays at 11:30 a.m. only on WESN, Content Capital.
Let your voice be heard. Call Madam Fix It on WESN, the only place that effectively helps you with your woes. Having problems getting onto government agencies, water woes, NIS and pension problems, potholes, and much, much more. Call me, Madam Fix-It, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right here on WESN. Let me fix it for you.
Chez Jean Designs in San Fernando provides customized clothing from sassy to corporate, conservative to casual. Email janiskazo@gmail.com or call 793-1668 for consultations.
What's your choice? Choice Optical. That's my choice.
Gen Style customizes cards, limitless in expressions. For special occasions, call 1-868-7N-STYLE. Instagram Gen Style Cards TT, Facebook @Gen Style.
Maybe he landed here totally by coincidence. But if by chance he's admiring your fresh coat of Benjamin Moore soft sky blue, well, that's a pretty high compliment. Coming from an expert.
Scrub City, your #1 choice for medical uniforms, medical accessories, and footwear. Scrub City, 2 locations, San Fernando and Chaguanas, or check our Facebook page.
Every day, we communicate through stories. Stories of ourselves, our challenges, our goals, our experiences, and our aspirations. Storytelling is an art that we have mastered. WESN Film Studios comprises a collaborative team of experts with extensive industry experience locally, regionally, and internationally. The ability of your business to successfully communicate with your preferred audience depends on the strength of the stories you tell. Your vision should be communicated in a high-quality, professional, and creative way. From concept to post-production, advertising to film, multi-camera productions, live events, streaming, and virtual conferencing, we are WESN Film Studio. Let your own unique voice be heard and your vision realized. Call us today at 628-5835 for your next production.
Courageous, inspiring. What a journey. Thank you so much, Akina Kublal, for sharing your story with us today. I know that a lot of people were encouraged. I know that I was. And we certainly have to thank Dr. Mohammed. She brought a spin on it physically, the ailment. And of course, Miss Theophile and our spoken word. Nicole Larsen live, living in victory every day. Catch you next week. Bye-bye.